Morning. Ngayong araw na ito, pupunta kami sa Chicago, doon na tinatawag na Windy City. Ayan, kasi may marathon doon na sasalihan ni Oda at ni Del. At kaya kami maaga pumunta. Ayan. Sa makalawa pa yata ang pero maglilibot muna kami, dadalo ako tuloy sa isang Nandito na kami ngayon sa may O'Hare, sa Chicago, O'Hare Airport. At kami, ayan, sumakay uli kami sa train naman, papunta naman doon sa O'Hare Multi-Model Facility. Kasi doon ang rentahan ng doon kami mag-i-renta ng kotse at saka tuloy ko po ng number yata yung si Del at si Oda para sa kanilang sasalihang marathon. Yan. At dito na kami ngayon sa model facility MMF kung tawagin nila. Si Lady natin namin na
You just have to make sure the sticker's on.
Ganda itong loob ng kuwan na ito. Itong loob nito, maganda. Yeah. May talagang sports center. Lahat na yan natong nagpupunta rito ngayon, pwera lang kami. Kami nila sasali sa marathon. Meron na ako ng libo to, 2,000 na, may gitata kung 7,000. Yung sasali sa marathon. Hindi, 2,400 yata yung kalaod. Magkaiba kasi sila. Si Dele sa sa 5 kilometers. Ay 5 miles yata. Si Oda naman 26. Yan, medyo malayo yung kay Oda. Nakarenta na kami at yung sasakyan ay nandito. Meron batang baby.
Okay, Michael, we will go with you.
Yeah. Pagkagaling dito, pupunta na kami sa tutuluyan namin hotel.
I don't know. Where's our car? You still remember? I'll come. Maybe it's there.
Andito na kami ngayon sa may Royal Sonesta Hotel. Andito kami sa lobby habang nagpapa-register si Del sa dito. At mainom naman, maganda pala itong hotel nito. Tsaka hindi ka gano'ng magiginaw. Ayan, meron pang heater at tibano lobby. Ayan. Saka sa harapan pala namin, yung hotel ni Trump. Oh, laki. Ayan o. Ayan pala hotel ni Trump. Oh. Medyo gabi na kasi kaya hindi na kami lalabas at bukas na lang. Ayan. Ngayon nandito na kami aakit na. Umaga na, pangalawang araw namin ito rito. At mataas pala yung nalagyan namin. Nakakalula. Nasa 37th floor po lang kami. Takot pa naman ako sa ganito kataas na building. Kasi nga baka lumindol. Mahirap bumaba. Hindi ka manubra sa elevator. Saan ka dadaan? Siyempre nagkakagulo. Tsaka mataas na masyado. Yun ang kinatatakot ko, yung mataas na building. Lalo nung nando kami sa Davao, mabuti, nakaalis na kami ron nung lumindol. Lumipat na kami ng tirahan. Pupunta rin kami sa mag-boat ride muna kami ngayong araw na ito. Malapit lang naman ito sa hotel namin tinitira. Kaya lalakarin lang kami.
most embarrassing, we interrupted them while they were in the outhouse. The toilet. That's just not cool. Did we get the World's Fair? Yes, we did. But it also gives you context to Charles David's quote, right? Those waiting way back from that nothing but positive.
Working every full service. Whatever you're looking for is out there at the bar. Hot drinks, cold drinks, mixed drinks, soft drinks, light beer.
Okay. Let's take it right here.
Got about 3 on the but one something.
Kailangan makakain tayo dyan. Otherwise, sabi ko,
If you want to have a loud conversation today, you have an important telephone call to make, that's fine. We just ask that you take it downstairs. Everybody on the upper deck here can hear what's going on. Now I'm going to tell you about the history of Chicago on our tour. We're going to look at the corners. If you had to guess, is that an older or a newer building? If you said older, you're already learning how to read the skyline. How do you know? Well, again, materials, right? See all the details on that building? That's terracotta tile. That building from the 1920s is the Jewelers Building, so named because they wanted all the prominent jewelers in Chicago to work out of it back in the 1920s. Trying to look like a European cathedral or a temple in Rome begs the question. This is the revival style of architecture. Anytime you see a decorative building like this, you'll know it's from the 1920s. Right. Take a look at the brick facade on this next building, letting you know it used to be a warehouse on the river from the 1910s. See what the building is made out of. Metal and glass. It's supposed to be a more honest, more elegant style of architecture, like a simple black dress. River North used to be a very industrial part of the city. Today, a lot of balconies, right? A lot of people living over here. That all starts with this next building coming up on our right. Now, this might remind you of something we've seen already today. Remember Marina City? Same architect 20 years later. Same idea, right down to the place to park your yacht. Whereas the other one was Marina City from the 1960s. This one is River City from the 1980s. Now, looking at it, sometimes people think, he's just copying what he did before. You've got to remember, nobody was living on this part of the river back in the 1980s. Think back to all the buildings we just saw in the South Loop, right? Take a look at this big black building here on our right. It just opened up last year. Remember, Bertrand Goldberg, social scientist, changing where people live. Still ahead of the curve. Now, the next story I have for you is a bit of an architectural fairy tale. Straight in front of the boat, you'll see the king and the queen of our skyline. That tall, dark, and handsome fellow with the antennas on top, that is the undisputed king of the Chicago skyline. We've got a lot to talk about with that building, so we're going to come back to it. Confusion with the name here in just a moment. This is the tallest building in Chicago. However, it was the tallest building in the world when it first opened in 1974, and it held on to that title for over 20 years. That's a long time to hold on to that title. And the way that it did it is our second technique for building really tall buildings here in this very windy city. The Sears Tower is actually 9 towers bundled together. If you can see it from above, it's on a 3x3 grid. Each of the spots on that grid has its own tower. All of the smaller towers add support to the 2 tallest towers. Bundling the Garden Tower, where they used to make the Chicago Tribune newspaper. High-end condominiums today. Top of that building trying to look like a French Gothic cathedral. In between the buildings looking like cathedrals. An Art Deco building, soaring vertical lines and setbacks, but what's on the top of it? An onion dome. That's the Intercontinental Hotel today. Used to be the headquarters for the Shriners, a men's group that liked Turkish details. They would wear little fez hats, right? That's why they put a Moorish onion on top of their building. You found the onion? Now here's the Apple, our little Apple store with the see-through walls. Cool little building, but talk about subliminal marketing. Look at that iPad for a roof. In Chicago, it's architecture and it's culture. But more than all of that, I want you to ask yourself, did you fall in love with Chicago today? I hope that you did. And if you did, just tell people about us. Tell them what a good time you had. Tell them to come and visit us. So on behalf of Wendella Tours, on behalf of the captain, the crew, and myself, I want to welcome you back to what I truly believe is the greatest city in the world, Sweet Home Chicago. Thank you, folks, and enjoy the rest of your day. You guys have been fantastic. Thank you so much.